Hello, welcome. Today we will learn how to accurately add and subtract negative numbers. First off, let's review. A negative number is a number that is the same value but on the opposite side of 0. Let's say we want to say negative 2. Negative 2. This is 0 on the number line. We have 2 right here. 1 space, 2 space. Negative 2 is the same distance on the number line as the negative. Now, how are we going to add and subtract negative numbers? Alright. Let's first look at Mr. Mount's rule. I trademarked it. Don't use it without giving me credit. I will sue. We count the number of lines in the plus sign and the minus sign. In the plus sign, we have 2 lines, one up, one down. In the negative sign, we have 1 line. How many total lines is that? 3. Now what happens when you have something minus something? The number decreases. What happens when you have something plus something? The number increases. So from this simple rule, you can determine that negative decreases, addition increases. So if there's 1 line that decreases, 2 lines that increases. That rule keeps the same, never fluctuates. Odd number of lines total, the number decreases. Even number of lines total, the number increases. Let's look at what I mean by that. Let's start off with 2 plus negative 1. What's that equal? First, let's look at the number rule. Okay, so we have a plus sign, which is 2 lines, and a negative sign, which is 1. 3 total lines, which tells you to subtract. All right, so 2 plus negative 1. But on top of that, let's do a number line. So we start off with 0. We go to 2. 1, 2. Make a couple of lines next to it. 4, 5. Now what do? We start at 2. We're going to add, which would be to the right, a negative. But now it's a total of 3 lines, so we're going to end up subtracting. So if it's 3 lines, number moves to the left. 2 lines, number moves to the right. Odd number of lines to the left, even number of lines to the right. Say it with me. Odd left, even right. Odd number of lines to the left, even number of lines to the right. We start off at 2. Odd number of lines over 1 to the left. 2 plus negative 1 equals 1. Now that was simple, right? Let's do some more. Don't forget, even right, odd left, even right. We have 4 plus negative 2. That's horrible too. Number line. Starting off at 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. Starting at 4. Plus would be to the right, but we have a negative. We have an odd amount of lines here. So odd left. Minus 2. 4 minus 2, we're going over 2 spaces, 1, 2, gives us a 2, equals positive 2. Now, what changes when we minus a negative? Well, Mr. Mount said, even amount of lines, you always go to the right, right? I mean, I think that's what I said. So we have 4. We always start off at that number, 4. But now we have an odd amount. Oh, snap. You add those 2 together. That's a plus sign. 2 signs. Okay. Makes sense. Mr. Mount knows what he's talking about. So we have 4, 5, 6. 6. Because you're going to 4. 2 lines equals a plus. You're going to 6 equals 6. Well, what about those tricky devils when you start with a negative number? nothing changes. Nothing changes when you start with a negative number except for you start on the opposite side of the number line. What's that mean, Mr. Mount? I'll tell you. So let's start with negative 3 plus, nice plus sign right there, plus negative 1. Two negatives in one equation. Don't be scared. I got this. We're going to start with negative 3 on the number line. Always the number line. Okay. Negatives on the left side, so we have 1, 2, 3. Let's keep going. A couple spaces to give us some room. That would be negative 5. So we're starting at negative 1, 2, 3. Now what's that mean? Odd number of lines to the left, even to the right. Repeat. Odd left, even right. So we're starting at negative 3. Negative 3. Odd left. We're going one space to the left. Odd number of lines. Which would equal right here. What? Oh, why didn't you guys tell me I did that wrong? That's negative 2. Negative 3. Here we go. One space to the right equals negative 4. All right, that sounds good. That sounds good. All right, let's do something different. Negative 1 minus negative 6. It's an ugly 6. There we go. It's still an ugly 6. Don't care. All right, we have the number line. You see negative 6 right here, negative 1. Don't know where to start because we're moving a lot of spaces. Let's just start at 0 just because. Let's see, our starting point is going to be negative 1. Let's just go over a couple spaces. 2, 3, 4, 5. Over a couple spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're starting at negative 1. We have 3 negatives now. Now you're confused. Now you're scared. I'm going to walk you through it. Don't worry. Starting at negative 1, we have a total of 2 signs in between here. When we talk about total number signs, we only talk about in the middle of the equation. The beginning sign has no bearing on left or right. It's only our starting point. So we have a negative 1 starting point. 2 signs right here, which equals a plus. 2 lines equals plus. Don't forget. Odd left, even right. So we're going to move to the right 6 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have to count 0. Don't forget to count 0. 0 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That lands us on 5. So negative 1 minus negative 6 equals positive 5. Let's do another example real quick, trying to beat the clock. Negative 2 minus negative 4. 0, number line. We're going to start out with negative 2, 1, 2, negative 2, right here. 5. All right, negative 2. Starting off here again, remember no bearing on left or right. We're going to the right because these 2 signs equals a positive. Even number of signs, even number of lines means right side. So we're going to go to the right 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that leaves us at regular 2. Guys, don't forget to review this video as many times as you need it. It is here to help. For homework, we have a couple of questions. Please review them, do them. Also for homework, I would like you to create 10 problems, 10 word problems. Well, no, 10 problems for yourself. I'm sorry, 10 problems without the answer to hand in to another student tomorrow at the beginning of class. And then after that, I would like you to solve this word problem. Mr. Mount grades the test that his students just took. Now, Mr. Mount is a nice guy. After finding out the class average for the test is 79, he decides to add -4 points to the class's average. After that, he decides to subtract an additional -11 points to the same average. By how many points did the class average increase, and what is the new class average? Listen to that as many times as you need to. Please have that done and ready to hand in by the end of class. This is Mr. Mount. You have a nice day.